Hello, and welcome back to Harriet's Custom Computer Art Plus. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Hit the like button as well, and also hit the bell if you'd like to be notified the minute I have up new tutorials. Today I'm going to be working on a project that I'm going to design completely using Cricut. This is the new favor bags, the shopper style favor bag, and also the mini backpack style favor bag. So if you like the software that I use when I normally design items on my channel, which is the Microsoft Picture It software, just contact me on Facebook at Harriet's Custom Computer Art Plus. Let me know you would like the free link to download the software, and I will get that out to you as soon as I can. All right, so now we're going to head over to Cricut Design Space so that I can show you how easy it is to design your own bags, your own favor bags. This first one I'm going to make is the backpack favor bag, and first I need to start off by making some shapes. So I'm going to click on shapes. I'm going to click on square, and I'm going to need, let me see, I have one, two, three, uh, four main pieces, and then the straps. So I'm going to go ahead and just change this background to white so that it will be easier to see when I add the score lines. And then I'll just duplicate this by right clicking, click duplicate, and then I'll keep that one to the side so that I won't have to keep changing these from a black shape to the white background. So the first piece I need, and what I'm going to do is I make one of any pieces that I need more than one copy of. I make one piece and then I just duplicate it after I've added in everything that needs to be on that piece. So this is going to be the biggest piece. This is going to be the front and the back cover of the backpack. And this needs to be 7 by 9 inches. So I'm going to go, I want it to be 9 inches tall. So I'm going to click here on height and enter 9. And I haven't unlocked it yet, but that's okay because I'll unlock it now. So I'm going to move this up some. I'll zoom out a little and I'll unlock it because I want, there we go, because I want the width to be 7 inches. So I'm going to highlight the number that's in width by right clicking and dragging across, and now I'm going to change that to 7. And I'm going to zoom out a little more so the pieces will show up a little better. So now, as you can see, this is 7 by 9 inches, and I can line it up in this corner so you can see. So I can show you on my measurements that I'm at 7 by 9 inches because I need to put in my score lines. So I'll use these marks on the ruler around the edge to put in my score lines. So for this one, I need score lines at a 1/2 inch coming down each side. So I'm going to click here on shape. Once again, I'm going to choose the score line. And I need it to be on the half mark, the 1/2 inch mark, which would be right here. And I'm just going to drag it all the way down to the bottom, a little beyond the bottom of the page because I want it to score all the way through. So I need to make a duplicate of this one. So I'm going to click on it with a right click, choose duplicate, and I'm going to drag this over and I'm going to put it on the other side at the 1/2 inch mark. I'm trying to line that up so that looks good. And now my last piece I need at 3 inches going across the bottom. So I'm going to make one more score line by going to shapes, choose a score line. I'm going to drag it over so that I can turn it 90 degrees, and you can either turn it 90 degrees or you can just type 90 right here where it says rotate. So I'm going to type 90 where it says rotate to make sure that it's exactly 90 degrees. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to line it up 3 inches. So remember, every what looks like a ½ inch on my border is this is the 9-inch mark. So as you can see, it's showing every other number. So I need to go up 3 inches from my 9 inches, which will be 6 inches. So I need to put this on the 6-inch mark. And then once I have it there, there we go. I'm going to drag it across. Well, actually, I have to do it on this side because I need to drag this way. That's a little long. So let me shorten that a little bit. Get it on my 6-inch mark. And then I'll drag it on over. So now this piece is almost done. Now I could leave it like this, but this portion I want to be cut away. So I'm going to change that section and this little line to cut lines. And how I do that is I'm going to click on this and I'm going to bring it up and stop it at that score line right there. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to stop it at that score line. And then I'm going to go to shapes, make another score line. I'm going to drag it out. And now here where it says operation, I'm going to click on the down arrow and I'm going to change it to a basic cut. So once I change it to a basic cut, it's not going to have the broken lines anymore. It's going to be a solid line. So click basic cut. And now when I move this over, you'll see that it's a solid line. And I'm going to just bring this down and line it up with the score line that's there already. I'm not using a mouse pad, so I should have used my mouse pad, but I don't want to stop and make this a longer video than it needs to be. So I'm just going to eyeball that. And as you can see, I let it come a little beyond so that it'll make sure that it cuts all the way through on that piece. And now I'm going to zoom out again. I'm going to click on that, right click, hit duplicate, and I'm going to drag it over to this side and do the same thing. So now I'll zoom in a little bit to make sure, yeah, I'm lined up with that one. So this piece, the last thing I need to do is make the cut line for this area. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to drag this out, shrink it down some so that I can just line it up with the 6-inch mark again. And then I'm going to add cut lines to the sides like I did with that one. So I'm making sure this is still on the 6. Then I'm going to stop it right at the score line. I'm going to go to shapes, make a new score line, drag it out, make it a 90-degree turn again by typing 90 and rotate. And then I'm going to drag this until it's just a little longer than this cut that I need to make. I'm going to change it from score under operation to basic cut. I'll zoom in a little so you can see as I put it in. And then I'm going to bring it there, right where I need to line it up. I'm going to make it a little longer. And I'm going to line it up with the 6-inch mark on the score line. Just like that. Now I'm going to duplicate this one by right-clicking, choosing duplicate. And then I'm going to back out so that I can see where I want to put it. And I'm going to put that on my 6-inch mark right there. Now I want to make sure it's not going to cut into my score line. So I'm just checking that, just make sure it's just on the area that I want to cut. Now that piece is complete. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to join all of that by just sliding across, I left clicked and just drug across the whole shape with all the lines. Now I'm going to choose attach here on the bottom right. And we have one side complete. Now I'm going to right click and say duplicate. And now I have the two pieces I need for the front and the back. Next, I'm going to make the side panel. So before I use this one, I'm going to make another duplicate of this one and put that off to the side. And now I'm going to go here. I'll unlock it. And this one I need to be 3 inches wide by 8 inches tall. So I'm going to highlight under width, make that 3, hit enter. And I'm going to highlight under height, make that 8 and enter. All right. Oops, it didn't change. Okay, try that again. Go into height, type 8 and enter. There we go. That time it worked. So now I'm just gonna move these two over to the side because I'm done with those. Those are completely ready to go. And I'm gonna move this into the corner so I can put my score lines on this one. Now this one I'm gonna need a score line at the 2-inch mark. So this side I'm going to once again put my score line on the 6. So I'm going to go to shape, score line. Going to change it to 90 degrees again. And hit enter. And I'm going to take it over to the 6. Line it up with the 6. Stretch it out a little bit so it goes all the way across. I think I stretched a little too much. There we go. And now I'm going to line that up with the 6. And that piece is done. So I'm going to group that, attach, and right click and hit duplicate. So those pieces are done. Next, I'm going to make my straps. So my straps, I'll need to unlock this square. And my straps are 9.5 inches by 1 1/4 or 1 1/2. It depends on how wide you want to make it. So I'm going to make it 1 1/2 right now. So I'm going to click on width, and I'm going to type 1.5 and enter. And then in height, I'm going to type 9.5 and enter. I'm going to pull this into the corner so I can add the fold or the score lines. And I'm going to make sure it's on 9.5. And as you can see, that's a 9 mark, and that's 9.5. So I'm going to make my score line again by going to shapes, score. And once again, I want to make this one a 90-degree angle. So I'm going to type 90 and rotate. I'm going to shrink it down so that it's, oops, I didn't mean to do that. All I'm going to do, since I made that mistake, is hit back arrow, and it takes it right back to where I wanted it. So now I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to make sure it's going to be long enough. I need it a little longer. And this is going to go on, I want just a 1/2 inch. So right here, this is 9.5 inches. So I'm going to put it right on the 9-inch mark. And I need a 1/2 inch at the top as well. So I'm going to right click on this score line and make a duplicate of it. Right click on it, make a duplicate of it, and I'm going to drag it up and put it on the 1/2 inch score line here. Now I'm going to drag across both those score lines in that piece, come over here to the right hand bottom and click attach. And I need 2 of these, so I'm going to right click and make a duplicate of that. So I have those pieces. Now we're almost done with all the pieces we need for the backpack. Now we need the curved pieces. So to make the curved pieces, and I used my last square, I didn't make a copy of it, so I'll just go ahead and make a new one and make it white. I'm going to go ahead and click the square. I'm going to click here in this dark square here at the top and make it white. And now this one, I want this to be 6 by 8 inches. So I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to go here and I'm going to make it 8 inches up, 6 inches wide, and I'm going to make it 8 inches tall, or 8 inches in height. So I want this edge to be rounded. But before I do that, I want to make a duplicate of this, because this will be the last piece we're making. So now I'm going to make this one, instead of leaving it as 6 by 8 inches, I'm going to make this one 5 by 8 inches. So I'm going to change the width to 5. I have it unlocked, change the width to 5, hit enter. Because this one is going to be that colored piece that overlaps the top to give it the layered look. And I'm going to center align it. So this is how it will look on top of our bag. It will have the white edge behind, and then this edge will be the pink overlay that makes the overlapping top. So now I want to curve this bottom edge. So I'm going to make a shape. I'm going to choose a circle this time. I didn't mean to get two. I'll delete one. So now I want a circle, and I'm going to resize the circle. So I want this circle to be lined up with the base of both of my flap pieces. But I need this to be large enough so that it's not cutting this portion, because I only want this edge cut. So I'm going to just move this down by grouping them, but not locking them together. I'm not going to attach them because I want to make this circle bigger. So I'm just going to move these out of the way so that I have plenty of room just to work on this portion. So now I'm going to take that circle and I'm going to enlarge it so that I'm covering up all of this portion. So I'm just going to drag it and make it bigger and bigger. And then I'm going to center it again on those two pieces. So now as you can see, when I cut it, it's not going to cut a circle in the middle of my top. It'll just cut this edge. So I'm going to make sure this is a line center. So I'm going to choose all of those to group them together. I'm going to go to align once again, and I'm going to align at the bottom. So it made it perfectly aligned at the bottom. This looks like it's even on both sides. And now, in order to get I just want to cut the curve on these two pieces. But if I went across both of these, then slice would disappear. So I need to be very careful to just, So I need to be very careful to just grab that circle and just the edge of that outer rectangle that's underneath there. And now you see I can slice it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit slice. I'm going to click on this piece and then right click, and I'm going to send it to the back. Just for now, I'll bring it back later. And then I'm going to move this piece out. This is the bottom edge of the biggest rectangle. So I'm going to delete that. Next, all I want is this inner white piece. So I'm going to click that piece, and then I'm going to pull that out. So now I have my curved piece for my backpack. top. But now I still need to cut this one. So I can take out this big circle because I don't need that because I have my curve here. So now I'm going to slide across this one right where it is, and I'm going to slice that one. And that gives me my other piece, and then I can get rid of all of this. So now when I make this piece my solid pink, I'll go ahead and make it pink so I could show you how that's going to look. And then it'll overlap the white base piece for my overlapping top. So I only need one of each of these, and I need an inch score line on each of these. So I'm going to take this up to the corner. I'm going to change this back to white so it won't be confusing. And now I need another score line. These are our last pieces. So I'll make a score line. Once again, I'm going to make it a 90-degree angle. I'll put it right there. Get across. I need to do the same thing. So I'm going to duplicate that score line. And I'll put it with this one. I'll go ahead and attach that one. Move that to the side. And then I'll bring this one up to this corner so that I could get it at the 1-inch mark. Click on it. Oops. And then move that up. This one doesn't have to be as wide, so I can shrink that down enough just so it will go across the top of this 5-inch piece. And then I'm going to group that and attach it. And now we have all of our pieces for the bag. We have the top of the bag, the sides of the back, well, the backpack, not the bag, the front and back, and the 2 straps. So now you want to save this by clicking on save, and I'm going to name this backpack favor or whatever you want to name it. Hit save. And now I'm going to use this same one to make the shopping style bag or the shopper style bag. So I'm going to go ahead here to save again, and I'm going to choose save as, and I'm going to change it to shopper bag, shopper favor bag. And hit save. And now for this one, I don't need this piece. I don't need this one. All I need are these 2 pieces. I don't need the straps. I just need to turn these. I'll delete one of these because I only need to change this one piece and then duplicate it to make the shopper style bag. So I'm going to detach it because I don't want to cut into any of these lines. I just want my shape right within the middle of those. So I'm going to go here to shapes. I'm going to make a circle. I'm going to take that circle over, and I'm going to stretch it so that it's right inside of those score lines. Just line it right up with those, and I'm going to drag it up so that it's about halfway through the circle, just like that. Now I'm going to take another circle, or I can right click and duplicate this one, and I'm going to change this one to white so that I can see it clearly. and I'm going to shrink it down to make my handle. So I'm just going to line that one up in the middle, and you can make this one as thin or thick as you want. I'll make it a little thicker. And then I want to center this one inside of that circle. So now that I have that set, I'm going to drag underneath these so that I have all my pieces, and I want to leave the circles there. So I'm going to move this down. I'm going to make sure that's pretty much in the center. And that's looking pretty good. I can do one of these and align it again. Do a center align. And that way I'll know it's in the center. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag across those two, and I'm going to slice. And that's going to give me my handle. I'm going to click and I'm going to delete that circle. I'm going to delete that. Oops, hit the wrong circle. I'm going to keep this circle, and I'm going to delete this circle. Now that I have this, should be 6-inch circle, but it's okay that it's a little smaller. I'm going to take a square and I'm going to cut this shape in half, and I'm going to drag this across. And I want this to be, since this circle is 6 inches, I want to make this height 3 inches even, so that I know that I'm just about in the middle of that circle. And now all I have to do is drag this down so that it's lined up with the bottom of that circle. Slide across, hit slice, and delete all the pieces that I don't want. I'm going to change this to white. And then I'm going to bring my bag back up. Oops. I want to make sure that I'm getting all of this. And I'm going to bring that back up some so I can see it at the top of the screen. And now you'll see why I detached it. So I'm going to make sure that this is within those score lines. I'll take it up a little more. That looks good. And now remember, these are detached. And I have those detached because I want to weld this square or rectangle to the handle. So I'm just going to drag down through those two and hit weld so that it becomes a solid piece. And now all I need to do is right click on this, choose send to back, and now I have all my pieces, all of my score lines and cut lines back, and I'm just going to join them again and hit attach. And now right click and duplicate, and you have just made your second bag. So now you want to make sure to save this one by clicking save so that it could save this as your new bag. And it's saying it's going to overwrite the cloud. Yes, I wanted to do that. And now you have your 2 bags designed. Now if you don't want to learn how to do your own, but if you don't want to do your own bags, I've already designed them. I've saved it in Cricut, and I have the templates available for if you don't have a Cricut, I have templates available that you can print out and just cut with scissors and fold yourself to make both of these bags. So that's how easy it is to design your own favor bags. You can get fancy if you'd like and change it any way you want, and create your own custom favor bags using these basic techniques. So now let me show you how to add your patterns to this. I'm going to go ahead and close this out and go back to Microsoft Picture. Now back on Microsoft Picture, I'm going to click here at the top right here where it says new, if you hover over these icons, it will tell you what they are. So I'm going to click here for a new sheet, and then I'm going to paste the image. I typed in Paw Patrol fabric high resolution on Google, and I found this little square. First, I'll show you how I increase this pattern, and if you look at some of my other tutorials, I have done this before, but I look for a repeating pattern where I can just make a copy of this. So I'm just going to go to cut out a picture, cut out a picture by a cookie cutter shape, and I'm just going to cut this out, the same pattern, hit next, and take the check mark out so that it will stay on this page, and I'm going to click done, and then I'll have two patterns, and all I'm going to do is bring this pattern over top of the other one until I line it up with the image in the first piece, so that I can get a larger piece of the fabric or make a larger print. So I look at my images, and that looks about the same as the other ones. Look like it needs to come back a little bit, like about right there. And now you have a repeating pattern. So all I do is once again go to cut out in picture, cut out of picture by color selection. And once again, we're going to cut out this time both pieces. So I just stretch that square until it fills the rectangle or of the material, and then I'm going to hit done, and I'm going to move that down, and I'm going to get it into place so that it can match up with the top piece. So I'll click out, and that looks good. So now I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to cut this one out, and on and on and on until you end up with the large piece. Move it and stretch it a little bit by any corner so that I'm filling up my whole page. So that's how I made the background. And then since I wanted the green one, or the teal green, um, I'm going to take the pink out so that this one will have a white background. These are both the same fabrics or fabric prints. I just pulled the white out. So I'll show you how I did that. First of all, I'm going to crop this so that it just fits an 8.5 by 11-inch page, going once again to that same feature, and you'll see as you watch more of my tutorials, I'm using the same features over and over again, so it's really easy to learn how to master this software because you're just doing the same functions over and over again. I'm going to go to with a cookie cutter shape, and I'm going to bring this up in the corner and then drag it by this corner to get it to that side, and then pull in the middle to get it all the way across that rectangle. Hit next and done, and then I'm going to delete the one that has the puzzle piece because I don't need that one. And also, if you have a lot of pieces that have puzzle pieces on them, like that one did, it will eventually slow down the software and possibly make it close itself out. So you want to keep the, it takes less memory to just crop out the piece and have it as one solid piece. So I'm going to go ahead and save this pattern. I would go to File, Save As, and I would just, you could save that as a pictured file. You could save it as a JPEG, PNG, it doesn't matter. I'm going to save it as a JPEG. So I change this by clicking next to pictured format, which is the format that it will always default to. And I'm going to scroll down until I get to JPEG, and then I'm going to give it a name, and I'll just call it Paul Pink. And I have it saved to my desktop. You can save yours to pictures if you want, or any other directory by clicking here on this down arrow, and you could change it to any other directory you want. I'll eventually save it to my passport. That's where my external hard drive, where I save all my projects too eventually, so that if my computers ever fail, I'll still have a backup copy of everything that I do for my parties on my external hard drive. So that's a good tip for those of you who plan to be in this business for a while and don't want to lose your designs. Usually I only do a design once, but um, I could still go back and maybe pull some elements or characters if I need them from some of my projects, because I like only making everything once, the original design, and then I try to make something new for each client. I like I get bored easily. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this as Paul Pink to my desktop. And now I'm going to go in. I'm going to make sure it's sharp, and it's looking sharp, but I want to sharpen it up just a little more. So I'm going to go to Special Effects, Blur or Sharpen, and then I can either drag this bar over to sharpen it a bit more, or I can use the up and down arrows to the arrow actually to get it more sharp. So I'll show you how it looked to begin with. It looks pretty sharp, and it was, but I want to make it a little sharper. So I'm just going to click on the up arrow until everything looks more crisp to me. And I'm not wearing my glasses, so I might actually be making this blurry to you. Hopefully not. But if I can make it look, I guess, clear with my glasses off, it will look like it's pretty sharp. So that looks good right there to me. So I'm going to click done, and I can save that again by going once again to File, Save As. It should already be in the same directory. So all I would have to do is go once again and change it to a JPEG, and then it'll show up here. I just click on that one because I want to replace it and hit save. It'll ask you if you're sure, and you click yes. I like that prompt because if you're about to accidentally um, erase or save over a file that you didn't mean to save, it gives you that little stop and take a it gives you that little stop so that you can make sure that you really meant to do that. And sometimes I've almost copied over something that I wanted to keep, but when I get that little prompt, are you sure? Then you can change it to a new name or add a number or a letter after it so that you can have both files saved. So now I'm going to take out all the pink and hopefully at once. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see most of the image, and I'm going to go to cut out of picture by color selection this time, and I'm going to drop this down to 1. The reason why I'm not dropping it all the way down to 0 is because I want to pick up as much of this pink as possible. Now, if it takes out too much and starts taking out some of these shades, like in this little paw print, then I'm going to drop it down to 0. But we'll test it first and see if we can get all of the background pink in one shot. And looks like that worked perfectly. So I'm going to zoom out now to make sure that's over the whole page. I'm going to click next. And since we just want to keep the the pink because that's the only part we want to change, we'll just make it one image. So I'm going to switch it by hitting select opposite area. So now I'll just keep all the puppies, the paws, and the word paw. And I'm going to click done. And now I'm going to come here to the bottom layer and delete it. And voila, you have your white paper. So now we have our colors. I'm going to go ahead and open up our pink one from the desktop. I'm going to open that one up as well. So we have our white, we have our pink, and now to make the solid shades, all I do is make a new blank sheet. The solid shades are what you'll need for this piece, for the top and for the edges. Same on this one. And also you can't tell from looking at this, but the straps, the colored side of the strap is also matching this. So all I need to do is now make 2 sheets of the solid colors so that I'll have all the pieces I need to cut out using my Cricut. So I'm going to go back to this new sheet that I just made by clicking here on this page icon. And I'm going to go to cutout and picture, add a a cutout or picture, and then I'm going to hit done. I'm going to resize this so that it fills up the whole page. For this one, it doesn't matter how you stretch it. You don't have to just stretch from the corner. We just want it to fill up the whole page. And I'm going to do another one by clicking another blank page. And I'm going to, once again, go to cutout and picture, add a colored shape. And I'm going to choose done and stretch this one as well. So these two will make up our pink and our teal backgrounds. All right, so to make this one match exactly the same pink that I have here, I just left click and drag it up into this piece. Then I click on the background so that I'll be changing the color of this big blue rectangle. I go to paint and color effects, fill with the solid color. It always defaults to red. And then I'm just going to click in that pink so it will be the exact same pink. And as you can see, it matches perfectly. I'm going to hit done, and then I'm going to click this little fabric print, and I'm going to then right click on it and hit delete. Now I'm going to go to my other one. You click on the image in this tray, you'll go to switch to, and now I could have done it from the pink one, but I'll just bring up the white one. I'm going to bring it open a little more because I need to get into this little area of teal. So I'm going to click on the blue background. I'm going to go once again to paint and color effects, fill with the solid color, and I'm going to click on the little shirt of Everest, and that's giving me my teal color. So I'm going to click done, and then I'm going to delete that top layer, which is Everest, and now we have our pink and teal layer, and I'm going to switch back to them so that I can save those. So now we're ready to cut these out using our Cricut. Now, since I'm making these out of 8.5 by 11 sheets that I print myself because it's cheap to do with the Epson, um, you will just need to make 3 of each of the solid colors and 2 of each of the prints with the puppies on them. So over here, as you can see, it's showing as if I was going to cut it on a 12-inch sheet. So it has multi pieces of the larger one with the smaller one on one page. So all you have to do is here, right here where it says 12 material 12 by 12, you're just going to click the down arrow and change this to 8.5 by 11. So it will reposition your sheets, and as you can see on the first sheet you'll get the 2 straps and one side. On the second sheet, this is a full one of the front or the back covers. The third sheet is a front or back cover. The fourth sheet is the overlapping top, the flap top, and then the last piece just has this one piece on it. The scores are always performed first, and then after the scoring, the cutting will begin.